What's up, guys? I wanted to make a video talking about why power is everywhere, why power is inherent, and it is just truly everywhere, right? A lot of us dudes, and just women too, right? If women are watching this video, don't think that power is everywhere, right? Don't understand that humans hold a lot of power in literally everything that they do, and just go by life just trying to be good. And that is a good thing, right, in and of itself. But there's also a lot of power to be gained, right, from this, from understanding the fact that there's power everywhere, and in all aspects that are human, there's always power to be gained. Power is just an inherent thing, and power is struggle, right? When you talk to people, there's always a struggle, an underlying current of power struggle, right? That's always going to be a thing. And people should be more aware of that, right? I feel like dudes, if they're trying to be successful, and women too, if they're trying to be successful, they should be more aware of that in and of itself. So without further ado, I've comprised a list of 3 points in this video, right, to make so that you guys can understand and truly grasp power and why it is inherent and why you should pay more attention to it if you're trying to be a successful person in the future. Okay, guys, first point, there is social power in everyday human interactions, right? When you're just talking to people, when you're just, chilling and just talking to people, maybe you're in class, talking to a friend, talking to a teacher, whatever the case may be, there's always power in human interactions, right? There's always this sense of underlying social aspect of power that can be gained from just human interactions. And one of the ways is just human influence, right? Human influence and persuasion, the ability, right, to shape opinions, to shape ideas from casual conversations, to get people to agree with you, to get people to understand what you're saying, the ability to make your influence felt, your influence and mind and power, everything about you, right? Your aura, to make that felt in human interactions. It just really could not be understated, right? And that is really important if you're trying to make network, if you're trying to make videos like I am, trying to get your message out there, trying to make your aura felt. That is just really important because power is just really inherent and power is just everywhere. And that is just one of the ways. And another one of the ways is just confidence and posture, your tone of voice, your tonality, how you speak, the way you speak, your attitude to everything. All of that, that's body language and presence. Right? You want to make yourself known, you want to make yourself felt in a dominant way, and that's another form of power right there, right? Because if you're confident in how you speak, in your body language, in your tonality, it's going to be felt. People are going to notice it. And to be confident, you're not rushed. You don't feel rushed. You speak slowly. You're never in a rush to be heard. If people listen to you, they will listen to you. They don't. You're always comfortable in your own skin. And there's just never a need to try to prove yourself to people. You were just that dude, right? And if women are watching this video, you were just that girl, right? And that's exactly what being confident is all about, essentially speaking, right? That is exactly what being, or at least in this point, this sub point, body language and presence, that is exactly what that's all about. You want to be felt confident through your body language and through your presence and how you speak, how you interact with people. You want to feel like you own the room without having to do much. People that talk a lot normally feel as if they're contributing more, but it's always the person that says less, that does less, and has a dominant body language and presence that does the most. Less is more. If you guys don't know that, less is more. That's always been a saying, and that truly does apply to everything in life. There's also group dynamics, guys. I hope you guys understand that too. There's group dynamics, right? Especially when you're in the friend group, when you're talking to people, there's always that one person that seems to be the rock of the group, the foundation of the group. Essentially like the leader, in other words, right? We all know that one guy that's practically the leader without ever having to be classified as one. That's practically the one that always makes the decisions without ever having to announce that, oh, I'm making this decision for the group, without ever having to be blunt and blatant about it. It's just always subtle, but at the end of the day, we always gravitate towards that person, right? We all know that one guy. There's always a group's hierarchy and structure. If this person doesn't make a decision, then I'm gonna listen to this person. And if that person doesn't make a decision, I'm gonna listen to that person. There's always a sense of hierarchy and structure in a group dynamic. There's never, oh, we're all equal in the friend group. Because at the end of the day, that's just not possible, right? On a human nature kind of level, that's just not possible. There's always that sense of who do we listen to the most? Who do I want to listen to the most? Who who do I want to follow, whose path more, right? We all know that one person that's practically the rock, the foundation. We all know who it is, and we don't have to kid ourselves, right? All right, guys. Second point of this video, and this is obviously, I think this point is the most obvious one, right? And this is economic and institutional power, right? And I'm pretty sure you guys understand what that means, right? That's basically the more money you have, the more power I have, the companies that I own, the corporations, the influence that I have towards society. That's the most obvious, right? Forms of power, right? And going deeper into it, it's think about this, right? Economics, wealth and opportunity, right? Wealth and opportunity, basically, right? Think about that, right? If I'm rich, right, I have the choice to make more lifestyle choices. I can buy better clothes, right? That makes people respect me more. Better shoes, right? You know, the J's, right? All that kind of stuff. That makes people respect me more and make people understand that, yeah, I'm rich. Yeah, I'm rich. I have power, basically, inherently. People want to be with me because they want to get that kind of power from me, right? Network, understand how I did it, maybe so that I can invest in their businesses, whatever the case may be, right? Understand that this is when you become rich, you basically have opportunities opened up to you because you're rich. And people always want to be with a rich person, right? This goes into businesses, opportunities, into trying to create success, even in dating too, right? Even in dating, you don't even gotta look the most handsome dude, right? As long as you're rich and have status, that's more than enough. Especially in dating in today's age. All of these things all comes from wealth, and with wealth comes opportunity, right? You guys don't have to keep denying it and trying to act like, oh, I don't gotta be rich to be happy. In my opinion, I do think wealth and happiness is closely associated, right? That's just my opinion, right? And I think a lot of dudes, right, if they stop denying it, they can probably be a lot more happier. Especially women too, they can probably be a lot more happier if they understand that wealth basically creates happiness. And if it doesn't, then at least, like I said before in an earlier video, you'll be crying in a Ferrari. At least you'll be crying in a Ferrari. And that's way better than crying in a dingy apartment, right? Diving deeper into like institutions, we have the corporate workplace, the manager, the employer, the guy that makes all the decisions and that takes all the credit too, right? You may be the worker, you may be the bread and butter, the oil rig machinery guy, the guy that puts in the work. But at the end of the day, it's always the guys at the top that takes the credit, right? It's always the who's at the top that takes the credit. Look at Jeff Bezos, right? Nobody pays attention, right, to the Amazon workers that does the work. They're only looking at the guy who's leading, and in this case, it's Jeff Bezos, right? And this goes to so many other examples, right? No shade to Jeff Bezos, though, no shade. But this goes to so many other examples, right? There's always institutional power, and that comes at the top, right? There's always the guy at the top that takes all the credit. That is the guy that everybody looks at, and nobody looks at the workers, right? People love the results, but they don't care about the effort, right? And they hate on the effort too, which doesn't make sense, right? Because how am I going to get the results if I don't put in effort? There's just no, it's a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and then we have government and legal systems, the government workers, the congressmen, the politicians, the president, the Supreme Court judges. What the fuck? Law enforcement motherfuckers. All these people are people that have inherent forms of power as they basically decide our society. And once we understand that, it's basically, what's it called? Once you understand that, it's basically, you basically understand that there's power like everywhere. And even in positions like law enforcement, even in positions like congressmen, especially congress people, just government positions, that's like probably the most obvious source of power. But it is still like a really big form of power. And to just really put this point to a close, the second point to a close, power is just truly inherent. And the most obvious form of power is like institutional power, right? Institutional power, like corporate workplaces, you just simply being rich, and lastly, just government positions, right? That's just the most obvious form of power. Finally, guys, the last point is psychological and emotional power, right? I feel like this is the most unobvious point, right? Psychological and emotional power, and I'm literally about to show you how it's the most unobvious point, because we have stuff like self-discipline and mastering your emotions, right? A lot of people won't even consider that to be a form of power. They would just consider that to be, oh, I'm just mastering my emotions. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not a bitch. I'm just trying to make sure I have this discipline to go out there and do these hard habits that I don't want to do because I know in the long run it's going to benefit me the most. That's another form of power, basically. You having the discipline and emotional strength and mastery, basically. Because even though you don't see it to be a form of power, a lot of people don't have that kind of power to be disciplined. Most people don't even go to the gym. I'm not sure if this statistic is still right, but only 22% of people actually go to the gym. Only 22%, right? And the fact that you need to have that kind of discipline to be in that 22%, it's not really that hard to be high value, especially if you're a man. It's not really that hard to be a high value guy. It's just if 22% go to the gym, you're already in the 22% just by going to the gym, right? And you already have accumulated that much power. And if you can master your emotions, use your emotions whenever necessary, whenever it fuels you, and don't let it consume you, you're even higher. How many people that are emotional, that follow their emotions, that follow the whims of the times, that have no purpose, right? That's already a form of power, just like that. And now heading on into manipulation and psychological control. Guys, I know the negative stigma that this comes, right? Because we're literally manipulating people and trying to manipulate their psychology, whatever the case, right? It's not a very good look. But at the same time, you just have to understand that this is really like inherent. Like the psychology and manipulation, all that stuff is inherent. Like that's everywhere. We're inherently trying to manipulate people at all times. And I feel like even if you were to become conscious about your manipulation, right? Conscious about how you want to manipulate people, it's not going to change anything. If you have a good conscience, right? If you have a good morality standpoint, it's not going to change anything. You're just conscious about manipulation, and you're just choosing to be conscious about it so you can really get what you want. People already do this anyways, but you being conscious just gives you that much of an edge because you're conscious about how manipulation works and all of that. It's not really a bad thing, right? And obviously there's gonna be people that are bad and that are conscious and that are trying to be manipulated for bad purposes, but those people were always bad. The manipulation didn't change them. They were always bad. It just revealed their true colors, right? When it comes to power only reveals your true colors. People like to say power corrupts. No, it doesn't. It just revealed who you really were all along. And manipulation is honestly no different. It just reveals who you really were this whole time, and that you couldn't have been because you didn't have the power to really show your true colors and get away with it. Manipulation is just another form of power, right? I'm becoming conscious of manipulation, and after I'm conscious, I have the power to be either evil or good in human interactions, and I'm choosing to be evil because that's just who I really wanted to be this whole time, instead of trying to be a good guy. That's all manipulation is. So don't look at it as a truly bad thing. It's only bad if you had bad intentions on the use of it. All right, guys, last point, your social media perception and control. This last sub point for this third point, your social media presence and control. At the end of the day, guys, social media has always been a weapon, right? You see these big time followers. I mean, these big time social media guys, people in general, right? They have all these followers and they follow nobody back. This is just all a ploy, a game. You guys should know this by now, right? This is kind of obvious. It's to show value, right? I have followers and I follow no one back, right? Because I'm a big time influencer. I'm that dude. I'm him, right? I have people that follow my lead, but I follow no one back. It's all just a ploy it's all just a form of power, and to make that person feel as if they are better than others, right? And even they don't feel that way, right? Even they do feel regular, like the next guy. Their social media image doesn't reflect that, right? And honestly, it's not really a bad thing. People like to shit on these people. I think people would actually shit on these people, right? Because they have these kind of followings. But first of all, why? They have value, right? Like, take The Rock, for example. He's an actor. Right? He's an actor, right? He has value. Everybody knows who he is. And that's also another form of value, right? People know who you are. But he's an actor. He has value. He has businesses. People know who he is. And that's like, And people still think he should be seen as a regular guy. He's not a regular guy. Everything about that, everything I just said about The Rock, he ain't regular. He's not gonna follow nobody back. He's not a regular guy. That's his value. People need to stop thinking, oh, I'm a regular dude. Oh, I need to still maintain this regularity after I've been raised, after I've created my value, after I became someone. He's not going to be a regular guy. People need to stop. People need to actually see that and not try to like bring people down because he put in the work and you didn't, right? That's all it is, right? It's not a bad thing when people don't follow anybody back. They have every right not to. There's no reason for them to. And everything about them shows that they shouldn't follow anybody back. He's a guy that made himself, and anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Lotto did it too. Like I said, anybody can do it. At the end of the day, guys, my whole point of this video, right, is to stop looking at power as a bad thing and to actually embrace it and use it for yourself. If once you start doing this, it inevitably becomes even easier to obtain. Power isn't a bad thing Power isn't a bad thing, and the day you stop looking at power as a bad thing, you become even greater than you ever have been before. Once you see that, it's gonna change your life, right? And it's still gonna take years. It's still gonna take the grind, the hard work. It's not gonna be done overnight, but it's gonna take you a lot. It's really gonna take you a lot shorter, right, than it could have taken you if you kept with this moral righteous streak, right? And you can still maintain your morality even after accepting power, right? You can still maintain your morality. But if you kept this moral righteous streak about literally everything, that you can't even see opportunity because you want to be that good, right? And you can still be a good guy even after accepting power for what it is. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube and Instagram and TikTok as well, right? To get more content like this and to help a brother out.